Ute update. We're running out of time. Alright, knocked out the affected areas. It all looks pretty good inside. Not too bad. I'll get around to patching him up now. Right, just going to clean this up. We went and found some bits that might fill the hole. Another one over there. So, might have a crack at it. Okay, just getting some patch panels. There we go with that. No wonder they rust out, eh? But this one, surprisingly solid. It'll clean up just fine. But yeah, it wouldn't have been much longer. And, I was surprised because it's got that much rust along the inside. The dash frame actually fell out. So, but yeah, got the section we needed. Proves that this old rubbish is still worth something. Anyway, we'll keep on to it. Alright, done a bit of patchwork on that on the front of the plenum there. I'll keep into it. Alright, just going to knock the pitman arm off this steering box. So if you haven't got yourself one of these little jiggers, alright, now you can see we've taken the nut off him, nut and the washer and everything off. You can put a slice in here with an angle grinder. Be very careful, don't hit your shaft, and you don't have to go all the way in. 3/4 of the way in, and then give it a couple of good whacks with a hammer and a cold chisel, and 9 times out of 10 they'll pop off because they're generally pretty hard. But if you got yourself one of these little jiggers, they make life much, much easier. I don't normally recommend using a rattle gun with one of these, just so you know. That's it, he's off. Job's good. That little jigger makes life a whole lot easier. Anyway, we'll keep on to it. We'll clean this thing up. It's a good box, I'm pretty sure. I checked it out before we pulled it out. It's still got a little bit of adjustment, but it's got no slop in it anyway. So we'll get him cleaned up and maybe give it a lick of paint and it can go back in. New pitman arm, beautiful. Alright, been a bit head down, bum up. Our inner guard's all cleaned up under there and coated. The old Arctic white is certainly Arctic. Flicked a bit onto there today. Now we can at least get a motor in, get the front end in, that sort of stuff. Beautiful. Alright, we've struck an issue. So I didn't notice it until now when I went to clean the K-frame up. She's been badly butchered. So that mount should be sitting further back. You can see where they've cut the welds off here and here. Yeah, made a mess. So we've got to address the problem. I'm not quite sure how yet. We'll see if we can find one. Okay, it just needs a bit of extra work, but I went down the back and found a rusty one that I forgot I had. But yeah, it's rusty on that side. She's pretty bad over there. This side mounts okay, so I'm thinking I can take this side mount off, remount it on this K-frame where it should be. Look, if you look at that alignment, see that alignment there? Look at that alignment there. Yeah, big difference. So yeah, we'll get on to fixing it, I reckon. Right, we've removed the mount from where they'd repositioned it to. Some pretty fancy looking welding going on there. They made sure it wasn't coming off, that's for sure. I've got to try and clean all that up now. I've taken the mount off that one. And I'll try and clean it. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get on to it. Alright, we cleaned up all that steel. Yeah. Anyway, the old one. We've now got a V8 mount in the correct position. We can clean her up, give her a coat of paint and put her in here. Beautiful. Just before I give this thing a clean, I stood it on its end and shook it a couple of times, and that's what come out. They've always got rat's nests and red dirt and you name it, it's inside them, so always give them a good clean out. This is the first time I've actually cleaned out the floor of this thing and had a good look at it. It's not too bad. It's had a couple of patches put in it and a past life, which seemed pretty solid. The rest of the floor is not too bad, I reckon. Same as up on the parcel tray, that impresses me along that back window. Looks bloody good. This is what cracked me up. I'm definitely going to have to change the seat belts. But you gotta love this, little cocky or something, you know. That seat belt's actually tied up with wire. Oh, I love this kind of stuff. Makes these cars, I reckon. Okay, just cleaning up some stub axles and stuff for the ute. The rotors that were on it were down nearly 20 mil, so I went and found a couple of decent ones. These ones are up 24 though, and they're in real good nick, so they'll skim up nice. And we'll clean them up, whack them on, and yeah, we'll keep on to it. Juicy. There's some calipers in here. Beautiful. Take them over and give them a blast. That's the other one. Yeah, that one. Lovely. Let's see how they come up. Alright, they're fun jobs. Had a couple of rotors machined up. We just packed some wheel bearings. We'll get them on. Alright, set of calipers for the big girl. I don't know how many sets of these I've done on the channel, so I'll just smash them out. And we'll throw some new pads on them. Got some machine rotors on her now, so she should stop pretty good. Alright, new seals are fitted. We'll get them bolted up with some new pads. Big girl will have some stoppers. I've got some new hoses here somewhere too. Beautiful. Right, new hoses, new pads, new caliper kits, machine discs. Front should be right. Beautiful. All right, motor and box is sitting in there. Beautiful. Must have got them mounts in the right spot. She fell in nails. Right. We'll continue on. Still plenty to do. So just sorting the loom out for the ute, and really common thing, the old burnt ignition wire. So I don't know where it comes from, whether it happens at the ignition switch or wherever, but it's a pretty common thing. A lot of the time I've seen it happen with the old aluminium case regulators. People will lean on top of the case and short it out on the body, and that'll melt the wire. But anyway, we'll put a new one in there. Right, back through to there. It plugs in. You can see there's bloody, she's gone from that corner, so we'll just join it onto the main loom. And that'll get him cracking again. But anyway, common thing. Still messing about with this wire and loom. She's been butchered up a bit. The engine side of it been butchered up a bit due to the 6 to 8 cylinder thing, or 8 to 6 cylinder thing rather. Extended the oil pressure line, oil pressure sender wire there up to the end. bits and pieces. That's all right, we'll get it sorted. Wrap some new tape on it, should be good to rock and roll. Just stuffing around with alternators. Apparently it's a good spot to nest. Yeah. Yeah, must have been a good little spot in there, eh? Wow. Alright, that's the amount of grass that come out of it. I'd imagine she'd have caught on fire if she'd have started working and got a bit warm. But anyway, so what we did, I could have just changed it over to internal reg, but I took the front off that, put it on a standard alternator so we could use a V8 one. See how they're double-sided? Alright, we've got an alternator. Okay, there's another little issue we struck. At column automatic, right? So this runs straight across in front of the pan behind the bell housing. Bolts on the bottom of the sump on that bracket and onto the chassis on that bracket and goes up to the column. The issue we have, those extractor pipes down there go straight through where this bar's got to sit. So we're going to have to do a little bit of cutting and shutting and welding and whatever else. I'm pretty sure I've done one before. We'll take a section out of it, put a riser in it so it goes up above the pipes and gives it enough clearance to wrap around it when it moves to shift gears. So we'll have a little crack and see how we go. Alright, so the bushing that was in this one goes in there. You can see she's a bit cactus, well and truly worn out. This one's actually out of an auto shifter linkage setup. So I'll use that. It's a much snugger fit on there. It'll take the play out of the shaft and it'll go straight in our hole. Beautiful. Okay, started chopping. We'll see how we go. Alright, so the column auto linkage was interfering with the extractors. Couldn't put the rod through there with the extractors on the right hand side. So this is what we come up with. We cut the selector rod, got some flat plate, drilled it, put it through the holes like so, and then set it all up in the right position, weld it all up, and hopefully that should turn over the top of the pipes and give us plenty of room. Fingers crossed. Alright, that's what I come up with. So our extractors and torsion bar go straight through that gap and our linkage should work. Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. Okay, just unbolting the tow bar off this thing so we can drop the tank out of it, right? Have a go at this. This was what was welded to the back tow bar bolt to stop it from spinning. The old Shimano brake arm. You gotta love that. That's very cool. Eh? Part of the bush character. Okay, so young bloke just dropped the tank out and give it a clean. Took the tow bar off to do that. Yeah, dropped the tank out and give it a clean. She's all rinsed out, ready to go. It was actually in good nick, so that was a bonus. There was no repairs needed or anything like that. It wasn't rusty, just needed some of the glazing taken off it from the old dried up fuel. And obviously snapped a few tow bar bolts and stuff in the process. And you've seen the other brake arm thing over there, that so that they had a nut to it. So these ute bars, they've got a bolt that comes through back that way and an arm that goes up there. So I'd say they've welded the nut to the push bike arm and then held it up there like that and screwed the bolt into it, and then it hit against here and wouldn't turn. I'd actually say that's what that is. They're right there. So there you go. A little bit of useless information for you. So I've done that shifter linkage now. I'm about to bolt that in and see if it's going to work. So we'll give it a crack. Okay, so I had to modify the auto linkage. That's the best I could come up with. Right, mate. Clears everything. Torsion bar. And shifts their auto around the extractors. That'll do. Alright, I think we've done enough for this thing to fire up. We'll see what happens. tightened down, that's why. I just loosened it and fucked around with it. Well, you got your timing right, son. Okay, let's change the float level in a little, we'll see what happens. Fuel pump's working anyway. Alright, so our floats aren't closing down. We're getting way too much more fuel out of there. Alright, let's have another go. No, it's flooding, I think. Yeah, it's flooding. Getting too much juice. Runs. Alright, just whacked an exhaust on the old girl. So the hard top the motor and box come out of came with an exhaust system with a single hot dog in it. So it made it straight up to the extractors. It's got a nice little stainless tip on it. We whacked her on. Beautiful. See how it sounds. I reckon it's going to bark a bit with that single hot dog in it. But anyway, she'll be right. Okay, just took all the dash frame out. You can see how nice it is under there. Really good. So, just been, so that's the frame that come out of it. I'll probably paint it up and put it back in, truth be known. The dash was a bit average. The crash pad again, a bit average. So just went and had a look through the stuff. It never had a plastic trim on the bottom beam. Never had that trim on the bottom of the dash, so I went and found one of them. And I found this instrument panel. It's got 81,000 Ks on it. The colour on the needles is great. It'll clean up nice. So we'll throw that in there. Then I went upstairs on the mezzy and I got this. Brown dash pad off of CM Regal. It's not mint, but it'll clean up nice. I think it'll look good on the big girl. So we'll get onto that soon as how it's a rainy, miserable day. We'll stay in undercover and clean this stuff up. Beautiful. Right, blasted the wasp nests off and the red cocky's dirt and whatever else. We'll set about sanding him up and painting him brown. Beautiful. Alright, cleaned up a lower dash fascia and the front of the radio and everything like that. Doesn't look too bad. This thing being a Dodge never had that fascia on it, but I'm going to put it on it. I want the interior to look nice and tidy. And I'll get onto this instrument panel now. Bit of fresh paint on that dash fascia. I'll gum with the grey works well. Beautiful. Okay, that instrument panel has come up quite nice. Nice surround for it. I found a dash pad up on the mezzy. It's in pretty good nick, as you can see. It's got a couple of marks in it, but nothing terrible, so it'll look all right. The instrument panel's come up great. It's only got 81,000 Ks on it compared to the old one. That's the old one that come out of it. 210, but it's also got wrecker writing on the back, I think, too. So yeah, it's got wrecker writing on the back. About $40. So it's not the original one out of it either. It's done the front and the radio and everything, so the dash should look quite good. All right, so I've been having a bit of a go. We've still got a couple of weeks left. Hopefully we'll get there. Fingers crossed. I think she's booked in for a roadworthy on the 11th or something, so that's cutting it fine. But anyway, you know the drill, guys. Thanks for watching, much appreciated. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share it around. Have a good one. Cheers.